So, the internet, it feels like this massive, well-lit city we all live in. We have our favorite spots, our daily routines, our communities. We navigate it with this sense of familiarity, almost like we know every street corner. But what if I told you that just beneath the surface of your everyday feed, there are these deep, dark, unsolved rabbit holes? These aren't just old forum posts. They're intricate global puzzles and bizarre digital ghosts that have stumped some of the smartest people online for years, sometimes decades. These are the legends, the folklore of the digital age, and they're a lot closer than you think. My name is Albert, and welcome to Unknown Facts. We're about to dive deep into a side of the internet you've probably never seen before, a place where the lines between a prank, a game, and something much more serious get incredibly blurry. If you're into diving down rabbit holes and exploring the unexplained, you're in the right place. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a like so you don't miss what's coming next. Let's get into it. It all started on January 4th, 2012. A simple image appeared on 4chan of all places. White text on a black background. It read, "Hello, we are looking for highly intelligent individuals. To find them, we have devised a test." It was signed 3301. This wasn't your average internet puzzle. This was the beginning of Cicada 3301. What many consider the most elaborate and mysterious puzzle of the internet age. It was a call to arms for the world's best codebreakers, cryptographers, and hackers. The initial image was just the first step. From there, the rabbit hole just got deeper and deeper. The puzzles involved steganography, classical literature, Mayan numerology, philosophy, and even physical, real-world locations. Clues were found on telephone poles in cities from Warsaw to Seoul to Miami. This wasn't just an online game, it was a global scavenger hunt. The puzzles ran for 3 consecutive years, each one starting in early January. Each time, a small group of people managed to solve their way to the end. Those who claimed to have won said they were led to a private forum on the dark web. After that, they were sworn to secrecy. After the 2014 puzzle, Cicada 3301 went quiet, and since then, nothing. The trail has gone completely cold. Let's rewind the clock, way back, to 1996. The internet was a different beast then, a sort of digital Wild West. The main hubs for discussion were called Usenet newsgroups, basically the ancestors of Reddit. And in August of 1996, one of these newsgroups, alt.religion.christian, was hit by a storm of pure, unadulterated nonsense. Hundreds and hundreds of posts, all with the same bizarre subject line, Markovian parallax denigrate. It was one of the first and strangest spam attacks in internet history. The body of these posts was just gibberish. A chaotic jumble of words that seemed to be randomly strung together. It looked like someone had taken a dictionary, thrown it in a blender, and just pasted the results. There was no clear message, no advertisement, no political statement. It was just noise. The name itself, Markovian parallax denigrate, is a puzzle. Markovian likely refers to a Markov chain, a mathematical model that generates sequences of text, where the next word is chosen based on the probability of it following the previous one. To this day, nobody knows for sure. There's no confession, no aha moment where the creator stepped forward. Imagine stumbling upon a subreddit. The posts are all made by one user, and they look like complete gibberish. Just massive blocks of hexadecimal code, a long string of letters and numbers. The subreddit is named A858, or more formally, A858DE45F56D9BC9. For years, this was one of Reddit's most active and obsessive mysteries. Starting in 2011, a user, also named A858, began posting these cryptographic puzzles sometimes multiple times a day with no explanation. This immediately attracted a community of codebreakers, amateur sleuths, and curious onlookers. They created their own subreddit, r/solving_A858, dedicated entirely to cracking the code. It was a massive collaborative effort. It was a real-time battle of wits between an anonymous puzzle master and a crowdsourced team of detectives. Slowly but surely, they started to make progress. They managed to decrypt short snippets revealing ACI art of things like Stonehenge, the Parthenon, or a chessboard. This gave the mystery its nickname, the Reddit Stonehenge. The decryption started to reveal more complex things, excerpts from books like Carl Sagan's Pale Blue Dot, quotes from TV shows, and even a complete frame-by-frame ACI art version of Never Gonna Give You Up, the ultimate Rickroll. Then, in 2016, it all came to an end with a farewell message thanking the community for playing along. This is one of those mysteries that honestly feels like it could be a movie plot. It all starts with a Reddit account. So, There was this user named Religion of Peace who passed away and, well, his account sort of became a memorial, but then, in 2009, a user called 2-6 left a really cryptic comment. He is a good man and was a loyal employee. I have sent the package to the address he provided. It is being shipped from a warehouse in Joplin, Missouri. That was weird enough, but it was really just the beginning. This user, 2-6, later took over a subreddit that Religion of Peace had created, a subreddit called r/Lake City Quiet Pills. For years it was just this bizarre collection of image macros and strange job postings. Until one day, a user tried to post to the subreddit and got an automated message. The message was a block of code. When translated it read, "Dispense quiet pills to the individual." And this is where the name comes from, and honestly, where the story takes a pretty dark turn. Quiet pills was interpreted by many as a euphemism for bullets. The community began digging into the history of the subreddit and the user Religion of Peace. What they found was a rabbit hole of shell companies, military jargon, and connections to mercenary work. The theory that emerged was honestly chilling. Lake City Quiet Pills wasn't some joke or a game, it was a front for an illegal arms dealing or assassination for hire ring. The job postings were seen as coded messages for operatives, the subreddit was eventually banned by Reddit, and the key accounts were deleted. But here's the catch, it's all speculation, there's no smoking gun, no confession, no arrest. In 2013, a YouTube channel appeared that was, for lack of a better word, just bizarre. It was called WebDriver Torso, and it started uploading videos, a lot of videos. At its peak, it was uploading a new video every few minutes. Each video was exactly 11 seconds long, and each one consisted of a series of blue and red rectangles shifting around on a white background, with these high-pitched electronic tones playing over it. That's it. For months this channel pumped out tens of thousands of these videos. The internet, of course, went wild with theories. What on earth was this? The theories ranged from the practical to the paranormal. Some thought it was a modern-day numbers station used by spies to send coded messages. Others believed it was a communication channel for aliens. The mystery deepened when people noticed that, on rare occasions, the videos would deviate from the formula. One video showed a silhouette of the Eiffel Tower for a few frames. The breakthrough came when a tech journalist from Engadget reached out to Google, YouTube's parent company, for an answer. Google's response was a bit of a classic tech troll move. They replied, "We're not at liberty to comment on your channel, but we can confirm that our channels are used to test our service quality for our users." This led to the most plausible theory. WebDriver Torso was a testing channel. It's the most boring answer, but also the one that makes the most sense. And yet, there's still a part of the internet that wants to believe it's something more. November 22nd, 1987. This is pre-internet for most people, but it's a foundational story of digital intrusion. In Chicago, people were settling in to watch an episode of Doctor Who on the local PBS station, WTTW. Suddenly the screen went black. A few seconds later, a new image appeared. It was a man, wearing a cheap-looking Max Headroom mask, bobbing erratically in front of a corrugated metal background. The engineers at the station were stunned. They quickly switched the broadcast frequency, and within about 30 seconds, they had regained control. It was a bizarre, unsettling, but brief interruption. They were wrong. About 2 hours later, it happened again. This time, the hijackers were ready. And there he was again, the man in the Max Headroom mask. But this time, there was audio, and it was pure, chaotic stream of consciousness. The whole thing was deeply unsettling. The figure moaned, screamed, and laughed maniacally. The broadcast culminated in a truly bizarre sequence where the figure exposed his bare buttocks to the camera, and an accomplice spanked him with a fly swatter. The FCC and the FBI launched a full-scale investigation. This wasn't just a prank, it was a federal crime. But despite a massive investigation and countless theories from the public, the culprits were never found. The Max Headroom incident has become legendary, a brief, bizarre, and slightly terrifying moment when someone proved that even the airwaves weren't safe from being hijacked. Let's step away from purely digital mysteries and look at one that was born in the physical world but given a second life online. The year is 1948. On Somerton Beach in Adelaide, Australia, the body of a man is discovered. He's well dressed in a suit and tie with no signs of violence. No one knows who he is, there's no identification on him, all the labels have been cut from his clothing. He is, for all intents and purposes, a ghost. The most significant clue was found in a hidden fob pocket in the man's trousers. It was a tiny rolled-up piece of paper torn from a book. On it were 2 words printed in a distinctive font, Tamam Shud. This phrase is Persian for it is ended or it is finished. It's the final phrase from a collection of poems called the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam. In the back of the book, written in pencil, was what looked like a code. It was a series of seemingly random capital letters. It has never been deciphered. For decades the case went cold. The Somerton Man was a local legend, an unsolvable mystery. And then, the internet happened. The rise of online forums and communities dedicated to unsolved mysteries breathed new life into the case. In 2022, a researcher claimed to have used DNA evidence to finally identify the Somerton Man, but these findings are still being debated. The internet took a 70-year-old cold case and turned it into a living, breathing global investigation. In the year 2000, as the world was just getting over the Y2K panic, a new voice appeared on internet forums. He called himself John Titor and, he had an incredible story to tell. He claimed to be an American soldier from the year 2036, sent back to 1975 on a military mission to retrieve an IBM 5100 computer. He said this old, clunky machine had a unique feature that was needed to debug legacy computer systems in his time. Now, claims of being a time traveler are nothing new online. But John Titor was different. He wasn't vague, he was incredibly detailed. He posted pictures of his time machine, which he said was installed in a 1967 Chevrolet Corvette. He answered questions for months, building a complex and consistent narrative about his world. According to Titor, the future was bleak. He described a second American Civil War starting in 2004, escalating into a brief but devastating World War III in 2015. He made several predictions. Some were vague enough to be interpreted as correct, like the rise of conflicts in the Middle East. Others were spectacularly wrong. He predicted the Olympics would be cancelled after 2004. In March 2001, John Titor posted his final message. He said it was time for him to return to 2036, and then he was gone. The John Titor story is a perfect example of internet myth-making. It's a modern campfire tale that captured the imagination of the early internet and continues to fascinate people to this day. So we've talked about WebDriver Torso, a channel that uploaded thousands of videos. Now let's talk about its much creepier cousin. In 2015, a YouTube channel called Unfavorable Semicircle appeared. Like WebDriver Torso, it uploaded an enormous number of videos. We're talking tens of thousands. But that's where the similarities end. These videos were not clean, simple tests. They were deeply unsettling. Most of the videos were just a few seconds long. They contained no discernible images, just distorted colors, visual noise, and static. The channel quickly became a hub for internet sleuths. A dedicated subreddit, Our Unfavorable Semicircle, was formed to try and figure out what was going on. This was not a fun, game-like mystery. This felt dark. Then, things got even weirder. One of the videos, when its audio was analyzed with a spectrogram, a tool that visualizes sound, revealed a clear image of a skull. This was a deliberate, hidden message. In 2016, YouTube suspended the main Unfavorable Semicircle account for violating its terms of service. To this day, no one knows who was behind it or what their purpose was. Some internet mysteries aren't about a puzzle you can solve, but about the hunt for something that may not even exist. This is the story of The Grifter, a rumored video so disturbing that it was said to cause psychological trauma to anyone who watched it. It's a classic piece of internet folklore, a digital urban legend that spread like wildfire through forums and image boards in the late 2000s. The story goes like this. The Grifter is a short video that begins with strange, distorted text. It then cuts to horrifying images of children suffering and dying in some kind of nightmarish, surreal landscape. The search for the Grifter became an obsession for many in the online horror community. People would claim to have seen it, describing its contents in graphic detail. Others would claim to have a copy but would refuse to share it, saying it was too dangerous. The most famous piece of evidence is a short, creepy video that often gets passed around as the real thing. It shows a bathtub filling with a brown, murky liquid, and ends with a jump scare of a screaming, distorted face. So, does the real Grifter video actually exist? Almost certainly not. It seems to be a classic case of creepypasta, a horror story born on the internet and spread through collective storytelling. This mystery started long before the internet, but like the Tamam Shud case, it found its home and its investigators online. Since the 1980s, hundreds of strange tiles have been appearing, embedded in the asphalt of city streets across the United States and even in South America. They're known as the Toynbee tiles. Each one contains a variation of the same cryptic message. The message usually reads something like this: Toynbee idea in movie 2001, resurrect dead on planet Jupiter. For years, these tiles were just a bizarre piece of urban scenery, a local curiosity in cities like Philadelphia, New York, and Baltimore. But as people started to travel and share information online, they realized this wasn't a local phenomenon. It was a massive continent-spanning art project or a public broadcast from a very singular mind. The name Toynbee almost certainly refers to Arnold J. Toynbee, a British historian. The movie 2001 is Stanley Kubrick's 2001, A Space Odyssey, which features a journey to Jupiter that results in a kind of rebirth. Through old newspaper articles and interviews, they've zeroed in on a likely suspect, a reclusive Philadelphia resident named Severino James Verna. However, even after Verna's supposed death, new tiles started appearing. In 2008, the world was in the grip of a massive financial crisis. Trust in banks and governments was at an all-time low, and in that moment, a paper was published to a cryptography mailing list. It was titled, Bitcoin, a Peer-to-Peer Electronic Cash System. The author was a person, or perhaps a group of people, known only by the name Satoshi Nakamoto. This paper laid the groundwork for what would become a multi-trillion-dollar industry. Satoshi didn't just write a paper. Over the next 2 years, he wrote the original Bitcoin software, mined the first block of the blockchain, and collaborated with other developers online to refine the system. Hidden in the code of the Genesis block is a message. The Times, 03 January 2009, Chancellor on brink of second bailout for banks. It was a timestamp and a mission statement. Then, in April 2011, after handing over control of the project, Satoshi sent his final email. He said he had moved on to other things, and then he vanished. Completely. He left behind a legacy that would change the world, and also a wallet containing an estimated 1 million bitcoins. At today's prices, that would make him one of the wealthiest people on the planet. But he has never touched a single one of them. The search for Satoshi Nakamoto has become one of the internet's greatest and most consequential mysteries. Journalists, detectives, and online sleuths have spent years trying to unmask him. Several people have been named as potential Satoshis, but the true identity remains elusive. He is the ultimate digital ghost, the anonymous founder of a new financial world. So there you have it, 12 rabbit holes, 12 of the internet's most compelling and persistent mysteries. From recruitment tools for secret societies to the ghosts of old Usenet forums, from coded messages in the pavement to the anonymous founder of a new economy. These stories show us that the internet isn't just a utility, it's a place of myth-making, a vast, unexplored territory where anyone with a keyboard and an idea can create a legend that captivates the world. These mysteries are the modern folklore of our time. What's so fascinating is how they blur the lines. Is it a game, an art project, a prank? Or is it something real and potentially dangerous? They remind us that for all its openness, the internet is also the perfect place for secrets. Anonymity is a powerful tool, and these stories show just how creatively, and sometimes terrifyingly, it can be used. They are digital ghosts in the machine, leaving clues and puzzles that we, the users, are left to try and solve. But now I want to hear from you. We've gone through a dozen different kinds of weird, from the technical to the terrifying. Which one of these mysteries do you think is the creepiest? Which one keeps you up at night? Let me know down in the comments. I'm genuinely curious to see which one gets under your skin the most. And of course, if you enjoyed this deep dive into the strange side of the web, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to Unknown Facts so you don't miss our next exploration into the unexplained. Thanks for watching.